Hi everyone, happy Tuesday. Welcome to Home Buying Tips with Allie. I am so excited to be introducing our speaker for the day, actually our guest, Mandy Cordeniz, and she's a realtor with Land Realty. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh,
this will be
so
fun.
Happy. Yes.
Yes.
So Mandy, how long have you been in real estate?
So I'm in my third year of real estate now. I was a stay-home mom for a while, and then the kids started moving into not needing mama around as much. So then I always loved real estate, and just kind of we moved out from LA, and I decided I wanted to be our own realtor. And so that kind of started me on my career path.
Is your spouse a realtor also?
No, he's a graphic artist.
Oh,
so he's my marketing guy.
Yes.
He's my home sweet home girl. Yeah, he's a graphic artist, does post-production, and so it's been a good mix because he can help me with all of the marketing. And,
oh, yeah.
Yes,
I can imagine.
It's fun.
That would be a fun partner to have,
exactly.
right?
Yes, and cheaper,
I know. So what areas do you service?
So being licensed, we cover all of California, which a lot of people feel like, you want your realtor in that area. But I feel like if you trust your realtor, they can check out the area and comps. But mostly I service the Central Valley, the coast, LA area, since we lived there for so long. But again, if you want me to travel, I can go up north or San Diego. But definitely the Central Valley and the coast main areas.
What do you feel about houses in the God, I just lost my train of thought, in the Bay Area?
Oh, well, I can go up there too, but coming from the LA area, it's definitely a different ball game. It's a little different price point, and but it's easy to do. If your realtor knows the area, they can check out comps, and I think it's totally doable. So.
And you actually take your clients out and go open house shopping and
Absolutely,
everything?
Sure. Yes, I actually have an office out in LA that I use also, and so we can make a weekend out of it, and the coast. I've got hotels that I like too.
Airbnb.
We'll make a vacation out of it. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
It's fun.
So how do you feel the market's going right now? I keep seeing a lot of home reductions out there, and then I see some higher prices.
Right.
What's your take on that?
So right now it's interesting. Typically in the holidays we slow down a little bit because everyone's kind of focusing on other areas, saving money. But it's kind of, I look at it as it's a good time to purchase also because there's a little more wiggle room. Maybe the seller wants to get out of the house before the end of the year. So, but we're still seeing there's between 30, 45 days on the market, which it's still a seller's market. So it's just, it just depends on if it's the time for you or not. But I do think that right now we're getting into more of a little wiggle room with negotiations and price points,
Right.
Definitely. More incentives kind of being thrown in.
What kind of incentives are you finding that people could benefit from that are being thrown in more?
So I think if we talk new construction, a lot of times there are homes that the builders have in inventory. And so they'll throw in, appliance packages, blinds, closing cost help. On the resale side, which are just the homes that have already been lived in, the closing costs, that helps. You can also always ask for closing costs, which are the costs that are incurred on the other side of the transaction. So closing costs help. You can also ask for termite inspections, roof inspections, those things. If somebody's really willing to they want to sell and they're motivated, then they're really going to try to put more incentives into the sale.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
CentralValleyTalk.com.
Welcome back to Home Buying Tips with Allie. I am here with Mandy Cordeniz of Land Realty, and we were just discussing all the areas that she's available in and basically all of California. She will sell you a house anywhere.
I'll go anywhere.
She's an equal opportunity real estate lady.
Exactly. Yes, I like that. Exactly. Have car, we'll travel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Have a trailer.
Yeah, it's fine.
Doesn't matter. Just park and go.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
Mandy, I know that you love working with first-time home buyers.
Yes.
What qualifies someone as a first-time home buyer?
So most people think first-time home buyers are someone who's never owned a home. But there's also, if you haven't owned a home in 3 years, you requalify as a first-time home buyer. And so that surprises people a lot because they think, oh, we owned a home a few years back, it didn't work out. But now you requalify, which there are also loans out there for the first-time home buyers.
Right.
And so, you know, you go from maybe having to put 20% down on your home for a conventional loan to maybe 3.5%, sometimes 0%. So that's a huge difference, you know, when you're looking at your savings.
Right, and that first-time home buyer, I believe, is 3 years with no properties in title under your name.
Right. Yes, exactly. So, yeah, it just opens up kind of a whole new category for some people that didn't think they qualified.
Right,
Yes.
yeah, and it helps a lot because there's so many programs out there for them that can help them out.
Exactly.
So what are some of the benefits of using a realtor when you're a first-time home buyer?
So the main thing that people, I don't think, understand or just know in general is that as a buyer, my commission is paid for by the seller. So I'm free. I am, you know, I will drive around. We go to open houses. Everything I do for the buyer is free of charge.
Right.
So that a lot of people think, well, if I don't use a realtor, then that's going to change maybe the number, like in new construction. It'll change the value of the home I'm purchasing. And it doesn't. It's completely free. So why not use a realtor? Then you have someone on your side and you have an advocate for the entire process.
Right.
Because so many things come up and it's such a big deal that it helps to have someone on your side.
And
sure.
as Mandy stated earlier, she'll go to LA, she'll go to the Bay, she'll go to the coast,
Yes.
she'll go all throughout California, and all of this is to you at
Free, no
$0.
charge. Yes.
$0.
As a
So,
buyer.
as a buyer.
I am completely free.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I think it's an education. So when I meet new people, it's just letting them know that, hey, use a realtor. We're here for you.
Exactly.
And we're free.
So all the open
Yeah.
houses she takes you to, all the contracts she writes up, all the offers she makes, all the
Absolutely.
inspections, all of that she's doing for you for free.
For free.
So it's really important to be loyal to
That's
your
what
realtor.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. All we ask is that you be loyal because we are taking time out from our work, from our homes, from our families, and we love doing it. However, just please be loyal.
Yes.
And that's the first question I usually ask when I meet someone. Even if it's a referral, I'll say, are you working with a realtor or a real estate agent? Because I don't want to take that away from someone else. And I think a lot of people don't realize that that's the way it is we're working
Exactly.
for free until the transaction closes.
So I have Mandy as my realtor, and I'm driving down the street, and I just saw this really cute, adorable house, and it has a for sale sign, and there's a phone number on there. Who should I call?
Call Mandy. No, and I think that happens a lot. And some people, you get caught up in it. You go to an open house. There's an agent there. They're very friendly, showing you everything. And you decide, let's just write the offer with this agent. Well, there's two reasons I wouldn't do that. For one, that agent is selling that particular home. And so their duty is to their seller. The second reason is I'm free. So why wouldn't you call me or your agent and just have that advocate on your side for sure.
Because you're going to do everything you can to protect the buyer's best interest.
Exactly. And that's my duty as the buyer's agent is to make sure all the correct paperwork is done. I have I'm better out in the public, and so I have an amazing transaction coordinator who handles the paperwork for me. Heather, love you. So it's important to make sure that all the proper documents go through, and so that's what having an agent will do.
So I know we just discussed, well, how much does a realtor cost for a buyer? But how about for the sellers? Because oftentimes people forget about the sellers, and sellers need realtors to represent them also.
Absolutely.
And what are the
Yes.
benefits of a for sale by owner versus working with a realtor?
Right. So as a seller, the seller will be paying the agent's commission, which is typically out here 5 to 6%, but it's negotiable. It depends on the circumstances. When you're using a realtor, we use the MLS, which is it's a network of other agents. And so if you're doing for sale by owner, you typically will have people coming to your home. You're going to be getting all those phone calls, probably from a lot of agents wanting to list the house. So it becomes another job also. But by using a realtor, we have a network of agents that we're putting your listing out. We'll do the professional pictures. My husband being the graphic artist that he is, we do videos and we do drone shots. And
Oh, nice.
we like to have fun with this because this is your presentation of your home to the world. So we want to make it as beautiful as possible. And, you know, you want to grab the attention of people that are out there looking for homes. So for sale by owner, if you want to put the time into it, I'm sure it's, you know, it's just a lot of work. And the networking, it's a lot of negotiations. There's a lot of things people don't realize go into selling a home. And so I think the idea of saving the commission is, you know, in most cases, the realtor, we're going to make sure we drill down on the exact price you should list at. Some people are really emotionally attached, and so their price is way high. So you miss a lot of buyers in that first, you know, when you're first out on the market. And then also if you're using Zillow, they've got the Zestimate, which it's a tool. However, it doesn't, the algorithms aren't quite where a realtor is, because a realtor is going to come in and look at your exact home and the value and upgrades, those kinds of things.
Right.
So
I was just
Yes.
about to touch on Zillow because so many people are stuck on that site,
Yes.
which it's a good site to look at, pretty pictures, nice information, but it's not accurate.
right. And the great thing with our MLS is it updates in real time. I've had it happen. People will, oh, I found this house. I was looking on Zillow, and I go to check on my MLS, and it's already pending. But Zillow hasn't updated because they are a little lagging behind what our MLS does.
Right.
So they've missed out on this home that they love because they're using a different tool. And as realtors, you know, we pay to be part of these services, and so let us give that service to you because that's what we're here for.
Exactly.
So,
Well,
yes.
we will be right back after this commercial break, and stay tuned for more information. Hi everyone, welcome back to Home Buying Tips with Allie. I am here with Mandy Cordeniz of Land Realty.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm Portuguese,
love it.
so I say her last name the Portuguese way.
And I giggle every time like a 5-year-old. I love it.
So Mandy, during our commercial break, we were discussing these new wave of agents, I guess you can call them, that I've been seeing conducting open homes, and that's Purple Bricks.
Yes.
What can you edge? I mean, to me, Purple Bricks is like Zillow
Right.
representing your home, but what can you tell us about that?
Right. So I haven't experienced Purple Bricks in a transaction yet, but I've heard from other clients and other folks that have dealt with them. And it's these companies that come in, and they are licensed agents, and they will list your home for you. As far as I know, that's pretty much the extent of it. You're getting a sign in your yard. They may do an open house. But as far as negotiations, and I think a lot of them may not even use local escrow companies,
Local lenders,
which those things matter when you're dealing with timelines and deadlines. You definitely want to have someone local who you trust and who your agent has worked with. And I think that a lot of times these companies, you know, you may have one Purple Bricks agent from Fresno to Bakersfield. And so really, is that agent going to be able to give the time and the commitment that a local agent would be able to give to you? So it's one of those things you have to, I guess, figure out for yourself and really ask what you want out of it. I know for me as an agent, I'm marketing, we're doing Facebook ads, we're doing open houses constantly. We walk the neighborhood. I'll go knock on doors and give out flyers and, you know, hey, help me pick your new neighbors. And
Yeah.
a lot of times that's not happening
Right.
with these other companies.
And,
So-
I think people forget that when you purchase a home, that's the biggest financial commitment of your life is that home.
Right.
And you're going to live in it, and you're going to raise a family in it, or like me, I can't have kids to raise my pets in it.
You have so many cute pets.
So it's like there's like that. That's our home. That's our
Right.
safe haven, and it's important to trust local people with your finances.
Right. And, especially these, the escrow company, which is one of the words we'll probably talk about for first-time buyers, but the escrow company makes sure that the title's in the right name, that the people that are selling you your home are actually those that own the home and they aren't from somewhere else. And so those little details are super important when it comes down. This is the biggest purchase, of your life, at least for this time until you move up and we sell that home and buy a new one.
And you mentioned title. Sometimes people have things against the title of their property.
Right.
That you don't even know because you're thinking, I'm buying a home, I'm starting from scratch. But if things aren't handled properly, you could actually inherit those title issues.
Those liens. There could be a lien on the property, which is extra taxes, and that's where it becomes. Everything is so. You have to just be open communication, and I really feel like that's what it takes to get a transaction moving through. And it's by your realtor, trusting the title companies, because we've worked with these companies. We trust our lenders. We've worked with them in the past, and we have those that we like to refer out to the clients and. Those things are just super important.
Oh, I agree 100%. Yeah. So let's go back to our first-time home buyers.
Yes.
What is the process when purchasing a home?
Okay, so
Is it just, I want to go see this home, I'm ready to go?
Home. Here's my check, let's make it work.
Which some people are cash buyers.
Yes, and we like cash. Cash is good. However, the majority of us are needing to get a loan. And so the first step is, I think most people know if their credit is a little iffy, and that's where we would come see Allie and her credit repair. So if you know, though, that it's you're fine, you're ready to go, then we want to get you to a lender. Yes. And that is where it's important also to have your realtor in place, because realtors work with many lenders throughout the process of selling homes. And so if you're, I'll have a list of a few lenders that I like to refer. And I always tell clients, call them, get a feel. Everyone's different. Even when you're choosing a realtor, such as myself, I would say, interview a few, because different personalities may mesh better with, you may not want me. You would, but totally kidding there. But, get out there and just meet a few. And you might, going to open houses, you'll meet a bunch of different realtors. But, and you need to ask those questions. What's important? Think of what's important to you. So say you found your realtor, then we would get you to a lender. And that is someone who's going to look at your whole situation, the finances. Is it just going to be you on the title, on the loan? Is it going to be another person? And then if they feel like you need to go back and change some credit, then we can do that. But they'll give you that golden number that we don't want to go looking at houses in the 400,000 range if you qualify for 250. Right. We want to make it something that's attainable. Right. And so we don't want to waste your time and get your hopes up. And so that's where having a good lender, and I think, is this picture up? Is this?
Yes,
so
is.
This picture here is my last house that just closed. That's sweet Leslie in the middle there. And we're with Amber Payne of Vero Mortgage. And Amber I met through another transaction, and she was just so amazing that she became part of my referral list. Yeah. And that's what, when you're like-minded and you know that the lender is going to work just as hard, because like we were talking about during the break, when your client, we're very protective of our clients, and I'm not going to send someone to a loan officer that I don't trust and haven't worked with. So exactly. I think it really helps. That's definitely, it takes a village to make a transaction happen. And even with the title company and the escrow companies, it's that open communication. You want to make sure that it's a seamless process as much as it can be. So, and
even if they have their credit ready, they still need to qualify with their debt to income ratio, their status on the job, how long they've been on the job. And these are questions that your local loan officer can help you out with, that we have zero control over.
Right, exactly. And so they'll help with that, and no changing jobs throughout the process. Yes. There's a few do's and don'ts that we can talk about too. But so say we've gone through it, we've gotten the loan approved, we get that pre-approval letter, because you also don't want to go and look at a home and fall in love with it and then not have a pre-approval letter, most sellers want to know that you qualify.
Exactly.
And so when we go to write our offer, we want to have that piece of paper saying, yes, this is, everything checks out and we're ready to go.
Yeah.
So.
And sometimes you can qualify for more, but if you're comfortable with a certain mortgage payment.
Right. Exactly.
You want to touch on that?
Yeah. So, you may be renting a home or an apartment, $1,200 a month, but then you go and, oh, hey, we qualify for $400,000. Let's go with that. Well, then your monthly mortgage now, because you've got taxes and insurance and everything rolled into it, you're looking closer to, depending, 18 to $2,000 a month, and that's not comfortable. So that's where we want to really work with your loan officer and make sure that they give you all of those figures before we go into it. Because we'd hate to get into an offer, get the house, and then get into escrow, and then you start seeing all these numbers and just go, this isn't going to work out.
Exactly.
So we want it to be a good experience.
Yes, yes, especially when it's your first home.
Yes.
And speaking,
Definitely.
so whenever you're buying a home, what are common terms you'll hear in the home buying process?
Right. So this is a whole new world for most people, and I think being in the business, we forget a lot of times, and so we throw all those terms out. But first one would be escrow. Escrow is this. What's this mythical escrow we hear of? And it's just the third party that helps the transaction move along. They are unbiased. They take in the money and move the documents and make sure everything is just seamless. Another is earnest money, earnest deposit, which people sometimes get deposit and down payment intertwined.
Correct.
So your deposit is what you're showing to the seller that you're serious. Typically about $500 to $1,000, but depending on the purchase price, it could go up a little bit. And that's also something that we may increase if it's maybe a multiple offer situation. You may put down more for your earnest money deposit to show how serious you are. And that's something that along the process, there's something called a contingency, which is their conditions. So you release those contingencies at some point, and then if you were to change your mind after that's all been released, then you would lose that deposit.
Right.
But that's where your agent will work with the other agent and make sure everything's smooth. So contingency.
But even then, it's 17 days.
Yes.
For your first contingency.
Yes. So the first one is 17 days. That's the home inspection. That's when we will come in. Another group of vendors that most realtors will have is the home inspectors. Those are people we've worked with before. That's one charge. That's about $400 to $600. So that's something the buyer does pay for.
Yes.
But we come in. You check everything out. If you want roof, termite, all of those things are done in the 17 days. And then concurrent with that are 21 days for your loan approval. And so while we're doing our home inspections, then your loan officer is working to get that loan approved.
Right.
And that's another term, is underwriting. So you'll hear underwriting. What is that? And that's when the loan company is making sure that everything checks out with your finances and that you will be able to pay for this mortgage that you're going to get.
I also hear the word conditions.
Conditions, yes. Conditions, sometimes those are kind of the contingencies. So conditions like, say, the roof, we need a roof inspection. Sometimes the seller will agree to pay for that. And so those are conditions. Also with the loan, conditions could be a health and safety. Sometimes, like if we have an FHA loan, then the appraiser, who's another one, the appraiser comes in and does a valuation of the home. And sometimes they'll flag things such as peeling paint, chipping paint, wood rot. And so those are conditions for your loan. So those have to be fixed before the loan's approved.
Right.
Which is another negotiation. And sometimes, we may ask the buyer or the seller to pay for it.
But the good thing is you don't have to worry about any of this because Mandy will coordinate everything.
Exactly. And that's where timelines are super important. And so I actually, with my buyers, I do a little home buyer packet. And so we sit down. I have a little flow chart that kind of explains everything. And
show us.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. But tell us what's on there.
So it starts with, us meeting, and then we go through our agency, we look for homes. There we go. Good thing I painted my nails. And then we tour our properties to see here we found our home. Then we decide on the key elements of your offer, because that's super important when you are going into putting an offer down. You may need your closing costs, which are the costs that are incurred on the other side of your transaction. So your escrow and whatnot. So we prepare your offer. I negotiate. I love negotiating.
Yes.
I like to get in there and be a little bulldog if I have to. So then we get your offer accepted. Then we go into opening escrow, the mythical escrow. And then this is what we were talking about, doing our due diligence here. So that's where we do all of our inspections. The escrow company does the title search. And then we wait for our final loan approval, which usually takes about 21 days. And in this meantime, I also, in my packet, I'll put, dates, little reminders. Okay, now you need to put in your 30-day notice or those kinds of things, because it's so overwhelming that I think a lot of times, did we get the loan? Did we get the inspection done? Now we're negotiating for inspection repairs, and oh shoot, I need to put in my 30-day.
Exactly.
So I like to put in little reminders there too, and I have them all over my calendar, and so it's definitely a dance of dates and timelines. And
so one thing I noticed on your flyer is that the very last one says possession date.
Yes.
And that's the date they get keys.
Yes, and so you will hear recording. A lot of times that's what is recording, and so that's the date that your the transaction's completely changed over. You take possession. We record with the county. And I get to give those keys, which is the most exciting part. And I have a funny story. So my first ever transaction, I was, so excited, and they didn't know it was my first one. I had just kind of like, let it go.
Fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it. And that exactly I did. And so I'm all excited. We've recorded. I go to call them, hey, let's go. When do you want to do your keys? And they're like, we'll just come pick them up tomorrow. Wah, wah. So I was so excited. We're going to give the keys out. And then they're just so laid back. They were like, we'll just get them tomorrow. So, I think I was over there on the other side ready to go. But that's how much, I love the business. And just knowing that you're walking someone from the first meeting to now we've gotten through this process.
Right.
And here are your keys to your new home. That's it's such a great feeling. And it's an honor to be part of their journey.
Well, I think one thing that people don't realize is that the second you hand them keys to their home, you can now go car shopping, you can now go furniture shopping, you can now do everything you want because you physically have the keys to your home.
Please don't do that throughout the process.
No.
I actually, in my packet, I have a list of do's and don'ts. And, there are no changing jobs. Don't open any credit cards. I know you're super excited and you want to go buy that refrigerator. However, let's wait until you get the keys.
Right.
Because the loan officer, they will run another credit check right at the end of your transaction just to make sure everything's still on the up and up. And we don't want that to stop or delay anything. So please. And if you ever have a question, call your realtor, call your loan officer, and they can answer those questions for you.
And even though she said don't get new credit cards, don't incur new debt on existing credit cards.
Yes, exactly. This is where Allie comes in. Always go to the expert. I think that's the theme, right? Always go to the expert in your questioning.
Well, basically your credit's on hold. Right. Until Mandy hands you keys.
Exactly. So and then you can do whatever. Yes.
So we're going to be back after this short commercial break. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Home Buying Tips with Allie. I am here with Mandy Cordeniz of Land Realty, and we have been touching on so many awesome subjects. And Mandy, I know you brought in some pictures.
Yes, I did.
Let's go over those so you could tell us what all these pictures
mean. So while this one looks like a pile of mush, this is a dear friend of mine was buying a new home in new construction, and she signed her papers, and I didn't have confetti on hand. I'm a baker like you, and so I grabbed a can of sprinkles. And so we went to go take pictures at the house because I like to take pictures along the process to show them, the house changing. And so, and since our daughters are friends, my daughters were there. And so we threw sprinkles on them in the street. And and it was it's so fun. I think people forget because it is stressful, but you've got to have fun along the way. And so, and this one here is my two daughters and Jada, who is my friend's daughter. And that's how my friend and I got to be friends. Our daughters were friends. And so this was the sprinkle, if the top picture, if you can see, that's where my girls got to douse her in sprinkles. And, it's just this one was also, my friend figured out along the process that she qualified for more than she thought she did. And that's by using a lender who, sometimes it's different and you have to put the puzzle piece together. It's not just a cut and dry loan. And so by working with the sales agent at the new construction, he referred us to this particular lender, and she was amazing. And so they were able to qualify for a larger home that she, than she originally planned for.
Right.
And they were super happy. So that was a great moment of, let's cover you in sprinkles. Yes. So, and we're talking new construction. So, there's so much new construction out there right now, which I love, because coming from LA or some of these larger markets, you may not be able to either find new construction or afford it. Out here, I mean, you could for, in the about $220, $250, you can really get a new home depending on the area, which is amazing. And so what I like to do, because it's time consuming, there's so many different ones. The incentives change all the time. There's, especially end of the year, right now is a great time, because if any of the construction companies have inventory homes, they're trying to get rid of those before the end of the year. And so there's a little wiggle room. And so what I do is, this is my new construction Bible. Yes, I brought props. And so what I do is I go to all of the new construction offices and just get the updates, learn about the homes, because everyone's different. They all offer different upgrades, and what's good at one may not be the same at another one. Right. And that's another thing we can talk about too, is as a buyer, some people think, I'm going to go to new construction, and if I don't use a realtor, they'll just deduct that commission from my purchase price. Not the case. Because in the sales offices, there are licensed agents, and those are your sales agents, but their diligence their duty is for the construction company. They work for them, and they'll tell you, it's a disclosure that, I do work for the seller. Right. And so again, it's just to their benefit to use an agent. There's just questions we can ask. There's certain things you may not think of coming into the situation, and there's sometimes wiggle room on things that we just have to ask for, and purchase price may be set, but sometimes it's not. And so I ask for everything. I just ask for the moon. All they can say is no, right? Exactly. But some clients that just closed on a house in one of the new construction areas, we were able to get them blinds, which sometimes blinds are not included, but that's a big expense. And they're actually, there they are, Melissa and Austin, Rome. I love these guys. And so you can see, I like to take pictures and we came along during that process. And so the house was already under construction. Yeah. But they were amazing because they were implants from Bakersfield. So they were living in an apartment in Visalia, and they were a referral from a cousin. Thanks, Stacy. And so what we did was, they were kind of talking about it, but once they met me, it was like, okay, well, let's go. Yeah. We're going to go look. And so what we did was, I plotted out everything based on what they wanted and their price point, and we went around for 5 hours on Sunday and hit all of the new construction, and were able to really drill down on what they wanted, and we found that home. And it was one of those that we were able to get more incentives on and help with closing costs. And so, and that's one thing also, is when you go to new construction, you want your agent to be with you. Because if you go in and write anything down, give them any information without your agent, they won't let us work together. Right. And so that's happened in the past. I've had clients, he just popped in and I gave him my email address. Well, now you're locked in. And and I get it, they have to protect themselves from the seller side, but then I'm kind of, my hands are tied, and I can't work with as much as I would like to and negotiate. So
exactly, it makes it harder.
It does, definitely. So it's
So I know sometimes people are going to ask you this, but with all of these online services and all of these online listings, as you mentioned, people think that going to new construction or going to online services, skipping using an agent, that they're saving all this money. But I've actually seen the flip side, where they end up paying more by using an online service versus using someone local. What are your thoughts on that?
Right. I think it's tough when you have, these, it sounds great. I'm going to save, $5,000, $10,000 in commission, but, it's not the Zillow. It's like the Zestimate that we talked about. The Zestimate is an average, and it's not an exact price. So having an agent come in and do an evaluation of your home could make you more money in the long run. Time also, timing wise, then you're on the phone all the time, and you become your agent. But you could lose out because, say, an agent comes in and you're selling it by yourself. That agent is going to know certain things to ask for that you may not, and so the buyer may end up getting more out of the deal than you initially could have had you had an agent on your side, such as the closing costs. You might get talked into paying for a lot more things than you normally would have.
Right.
So just having that live person there, I think, helps so much. And again, we cover the insurance of everything with our license, and so we're protecting you as the seller. There may be some document, some disclosure you don't know about that we'll make sure gets signed and that the buyer signs. And so it's just a protection, I think, overall too.
I agree with you, because I feel like everyone thinks that online is the best way to go, but anyone online could say whatever they want to say. They could advertise anything that they want to advertise, and then pull a bait and switch, because now you've already given them all your information. You're locked in.
Right.
Whereas someone local, you can go into their office, sit down with them, talk to them,
right,
and see for yourself what's happening.
Right. Well, and also as an agent, if I'm selling a home, when someone calls and says they want to come in, I'm going to ask, are you working with a realtor? Are you pre-qualified? Because I know if you've been pre-qualified, you've talked to a lender, we've got record of this person that you're letting into your home.
Right.
It's a safety issue too. So there's procedures that we all follow to make sure that the seller's protected personally, and then we'll be there for those showings. We know a licensed realtor will be coming in to show them the home. There have been some thefts, there's been issues and that sort of thing. So, not just financially and emotionally, but physically.
Of
so
course.
it's good protection.
It's getting a little bit scary out there. But I know that you've been in the real estate world for about 3 years now. And I'm sure you have some funny stories, some exciting stories.
Yes.
Some things you'd love to share with us.
Sure. That's always, I call it adventures in real estate, because every transaction's different. There's no cookie cutter, and I think that's what's exciting about it also. One of my my best stories ever, I think, which also is a testament to working as a team and, just to get the transaction to happen. I have a client who lived in Visalia, but her mom lived in LA. And so her mom was helping with the purchase. And it was a super tight timeline. They went to get her mom on a Friday. And of course, it's Friday, right? Everything, it leaves so many things up to chance. Right. So her mom was wiring in the money. Well, we needed the wire to happen at a certain time. And so I looked at the map and found her mom's bank, the branches. And we said, okay, so at this time, you'll be around this area. They literally went in along their drive back from LA and stopped in, wired the money. So while they were driving, the funds were coming in. And so that's where I'm talking to the loan officer. We're making sure, and that was Chris Hooten. He's good.
Oh, yeah.
We like it.
We love Chris.
We're talking to our local lenders and everybody.
Yeah.
So Chris made sure that the funds came in, because that had to be in by 1 o'clock. Well, then, and then they had to get her back home that day. So we needed this closing to happen. It's going to happen today.
Right.
Well, so then 2:15, I get the call from the escrow company, which, again, open communication, because I'd been telling them, hey, this is happening. So I get the call, hey, we can close today. Our courier can't get it in time. Can you go and do, it's an over-the-counter recording, which I had never done at this point. But that's when you physically take the papers from the escrow company, walk them into the county clerk, and they stamp them and record everything. So I'm like, sure, fake it till you make it. Here we go. We're going to make this happen. And so I got my husband to drive, because I knew, it's close from Tulare. I was in Tulare to Visalia. It's about 20 minutes, but, seconds count at this point. So I run into escrow, I get the papers, we get over to the county. Of course, we're catching every light, we're behind trucks, everything. Get over there, and I hadn't been to this area, so then I couldn't find the office. Go to get in, and there's a security line. And so, of course, this is the day I wear boots, right? I've got my big high boots on.
Everything has to come off.
Everything has to come off. And I was so nervous, I had the papers in my hand. Instead of walking through the metal detector, I stuck them through the belt. Well, they got stuck in the conveyor.
Oh, my God.
So they're rolling through the rollers. I'm dancing in my socks, Like, oh my gosh, there's people in front of me. So it's at this point, it's 2:57. So grab the boots, and I'm literally running through the office and the hallway, and I get to the recorder's office. There's a person standing in front of me. 2:58. I got to the window. We made it happen.
Wow.
But I literally, and so I had to take a picture because I would have worn cuter socks had I known I'm running around in my socks in Visalia. But, that's just that's my philosophy is you just make it happen.
Right.
You do what it takes.
Yes.
And we made it happen, and we got them. We were able to give them the keys. They were able to get her back to L.A. Friday, we put a nice little bow on it. But it was... yeah, that was one of the best. I think that goes down in the history books there. But again, it's communication, and it takes the team, and it was really everyone coming together. And it was Chicago Title. I'll give them a shout out because they were amazing.
Yeah.
So, but that's what it takes, and that's what, as a first time buyer, it's all new. And so to have someone on your side who's just going to be there every step of the way, I think that's just immeasurable. And it's free.
Right.
I'm free.
She'll take off her boots for you.
I will take, and yes, next time I will have cuter socks on, though. Yes.
You know what? I actually want to see some of these online companies do what you did for that client.
Right. Yeah. I don't think that would have been happening. Yeah. I don't see anyone running through Visalia and in their socks, but and that's
through the courthouse.
Yeah, through the courthouse. I mean, pleading, please, and then the papers, of course, were disheveled. So then the clerk says, "Well, you have to get these in order," and I'm like, "I don't know how to get them in order." She said, "They're numbered." Oh. Whew. Okay, thank goodness for that, and I can count. So. But it was, I love it though, because that's what you do, to make your clients happy and help. Yeah, that's just what it's all about.
Yeah.
So it was totally worth it.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, it was good times.
Well, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with some final messages. Hi everyone, welcome back to Home Buying Tips with Allie. I'm here with Mandy Cordeniz of Land Realty, and Mandy has been giving us so many awesome tips and so much great advice. And so I know that there's some pictures we haven't shown up on screen yet, so I wanted to see if you could tell us about these.
So, we kind of touched on talking, meeting different realtors and interviewing different realtors, and I really think you should, because everyone's different. What one person clicks with, somebody else may not.
Right.
And so anyone that works with me knows that I'm a mom. I'm married, I'm a mom, my kids are super active, and so usually at some point along the transaction they're going to meet my kiddos, and so I love this picture of them. It was 80s day at school, and I mean, I'm a kid of the 80s, so
me too.
But that's Darian and Dylan, and they're my loves. But I literally am the soccer mom. I do drive a minivan even. So, but that's who I am. And so I think it's really important that, because as I'm seeing my clients, we are people too.
Yeah.
First and foremost, we have lives outside of everything. However, I'm texting people at night, but they know that, I may not get back to them because it's dinner time or whatnot. So I think that's really important, just like when you're interviewing for the loan officers and whatnot.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
I love this next picture of you. Tell us what's happening here.
Yes. So, again, going with the personalities, I am animated. I love, this was right after my client. We were in a multiple offer situation, going back and forth, and I got the call that your client's offer was accepted. And of course, I had to immortalize it. That was an Instagram post. But
yes.
I love telling the story of everyone, and so I feel like it's so tough to really feel the emotions. And so that right there, it was just like, oh, I'm so excited. And, and she's single mom. She's been saving for so long, worked so hard. She wanted to buy a home for her kids, and she did. And so that rush of, we did it. It's exhilarating. And so that was that one.
I could totally see the excitement in your face.
Yes,
I love that.
Absolutely.
So Mandy, how does someone get in touch with you?
So, any way possible. So my phone number is 559-697-5356. If you see, it's Home Sweet Home Girl is my marketing and my logo and everything. So if you look up Home Sweet Home Girl, it'll pop up. But you can also email me, Mandy@homesweethomegirl.com. My website is homesweethomegirl.com. And I'm on Instagram as Mandy Cordeniz Realtor. If you want to follow me, I like to do, updates and keep people kind of posted on things going on in the area and local eateries and different kind of businesses, because we're all businesses. So let's support each other and support local. I'm really big on that. Also on Facebook, Home Sweet Home Girl. So many, many ways. I, text, email, anything.
Just say hey, and she'll be
hey. Just think of me, and I'll know it. Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for coming out to our show today. It's been a pleasure. I hope all of you got some great and valuable information, and please reach out to Mandy for your home buying or home selling needs.
Yes, thank you, and thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. It's been great. So,
thank you. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next week.